Hi ladies, I'm running a few minutes late. It was storming outside. I was in Franklin. I live just south of Nashville. In Franklin, driving to Columbia, and the rain came down, and I'm gonna tell you, it is rainy and wet out there, but it's beautiful and warm at the same time. So there's crazy storms a little bit everywhere, so be safe out there for sure. But tonight we are talking about plateaus. Now I need to be able to see if I can see you. It says swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. I could not see you last week, which was such a pain in my rear end. If you're there, say hi. There you are. There's Molly. Hey Molly, so good to see you. I'm hoping I can see your comments and everything tonight because I did not see them last week and it made it really hard when I wasn't hearing from you. Give me a thumbs up and let me see if I can see you. I hope I can see those comments this week. But listen, I'm so excited to be here. Tonight we're going to talk about weight loss plateaus, what they are, what they truly are, why they happen, and how you can fix them. So weight loss plateaus are basically when you see the scale quit moving down, right? And so believe it or not, if you are on a lower calorie diet and you're watching those calories and you're exercising, you're going to lose weight. But believe it or not, you too will most likely hit a plateau, especially if you have more than 10 pounds to lose. Most likely you are going to hit a plateau and it's going to slow you down. Most women describe a plateau as this. They describe it as, my scale won't budge, Allie. I have been working out, I've been following my calories, and my scale is not budging. And that is a plateau to them. But I want to ask you all a question. Is that really a plateau, a weight loss plateau? Most of my clients, if you're on here, I've got Molly on here and my mama's on here, and they will give you the answer, and it'll be a little bit different than most women. So most of us women, when we step on that scale and it's not budging, we think, I'm at a plateau. But the truth is that if you are watching your protein and if you are doing strength training, when the scale sometimes stops right there, you have not necessarily hit a plateau. And that's why I have my clients take their measurements and their pictures. And I want to explain why measurements and why pictures. Because if you're starting a new workout routine, like weight training, what happens, ladies, is you're building muscle. You've cut your calories a little bit lower. You're working out in the gym. And this is an all new routine to you, a workout routine. You're building some muscle, and at the same time, you're burning some fat. Now, the size of muscle, if you build muscle, is going to be about this big for 5 pounds. Not real big, just about that big, whatever. But 5 pounds of fat, ladies, it's about three times the size of muscle. So if you're building muscle, which you will do if you haven't really worked out in a long time or at all, right? You're going to build a little muscle and you're going to burn some fat. And so you can be decreasing in size. So you're going to see that in pictures and you're going to see that in your measurements. It's pretty cool to see. If you saw a picture of me that I put up a few days ago, I have a picture on the left of when I was 143 pounds 4 years ago, and I have a picture on the right when I'm 143 pounds now, okay? And look at those pictures, and I look completely different, but the scale says the same exact number. But yet I've lost 5 inches just in my belly button measurement alone. Now, 5 inches on a measuring tape doesn't look real big. But if you take that measuring tape around you and you put it right where it is and you add 5 inches, oh my goodness, ladies, you'll see what I'm talking about. That is a large amount. Those 5 inches are really, it's a lot. several sizes of pants, right? Down. And so would I say that because I was 143 then and I'm 143 now that I've just not made any progress? No, I've made great progress, but the scale doesn't show it. So before we move on to exactly what a plateau is, I want to tell you that sometimes we think a plateau, we see a plateau because just what the scale says, and I want you to be more aware of it, especially if you're working out and all of the above. I want you to take pictures. I want you to see those small changes in your body. You know, when we look in the mirror from month to month, we may not see those changes. We don't with our eyes. You know, it's like, I like to explain it like this, like we might feel our clothes getting a little bit more loose, but we really don't see it when we look in the mirror, right? It's like our kids. You know, my son Aaron, he's 6'4". It's so funny. He's really tall. My daughter's 5'2", right? That's so odd. But anyways, my son, when he was growing, he'd have these growth spurts. And I really wouldn't notice it until I looked down at his pants. And when I looked down at his pants, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you need new clothes again. You need new pants. You need new shoes. His shoes would be too tight. And I really wouldn't notice it until it hit me that those pants were really too short. So when we look in the mirror every day, ladies, we don't see that, you know? And so that's why I tell you, take pictures every 30 days. Take them, you know, put your camera in the same place, stand in the same position, wear the same clothes you wore every 30 days, wear those same clothes, put them in the same place on your body, and see those differences, and they'll help you keep going. Even when the scale isn't budging like you want it to, because you're only, like I said, when I was 143 pounds, 4 years ago, and 143 pounds now, there's a huge difference of 5 inches here, 5 inches here. My body has completely changed. But if I only went by the scale, I would say I haven't made any changes at all, right? And so I hope that you take those pictures. I hope you take the measurements of at least your waist, your hips, and maybe your arms, and just see how it changes, in your thighs if you want to. I have my clients measure in 9 places, and it's so cool to watch those measurements change and shrink, even when they don't see the scale move like they maybe wanted it to move. So, you know, it's never fast enough for us ladies, right? We always want it to move faster. And so it's cool to see those inches come off and see that progress, because it helps us stay on track. Now, what a true plateau is, if you've taken your measurements and you've taken your pictures and you're seeing no changes and the scale's not moving, if all 3 of those are not moving, you've truly hit a plateau. Okay, that's a real plateau. And, you know, I have women that when they come on, clients, they say, you know, well, my first week I lost like 5-7 pounds, something like that, 5 to 7 pounds. And they think that that's going to continue. And I kind of wish it would, you know. I know the dangers of that, but for most of us women, and so I don't let my clients go there, right? But for most of us women, we want to see that scale move 5, 7, 10 pounds a week. It's never fast enough for us, right? Most of the time. But I want you to realize that we don't want it to continue to move like that. And I want to tell you why it moves like that in the beginning and why we don't want it to continue to move like that. In the beginning, when you change your diet habits and you start exercising, your body starts, you know, it doesn't have as much food as it once had. You cut back on your calories. And your body is going to burn some glycogen. Glycogen is stored in your muscles. And so when it stores, or when it burns that glycogen for fuel, what happens is when that glycogen is removed, it allows water to come out of our muscles, right? And so we lose water along with losing and burning some fat, but that first week is always that big loss, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, this diet is so amazing. I am excited. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 4 weeks. And it doesn't happen, because the first week you're losing water because of glycogen loss along with fat. So that's not sustainable. That's not going to continue to happen. And weight loss just slows down, right? But healthy weight loss is between 1 to 3 pounds a week. And you know what? Some people lose a half a pound a week. Some people lose a pound a week. Some a pound and a half. Most of my clients lose right around that, or 2 pounds a week. And I love that because of this. When you're losing weight, you don't want to lose it too fast. And I want to tell you another story about me. I tell you guys all the stories about me because I am a great example of what not to do. Okay? In my past, I did all the wrong things, it seems like. You know, I went on all the fad diets and none of them worked fast enough for me. So here's what I did. I decided the best way to lose weight quickly was to basically eat very, very, very little. Okay, now that sounds okay, right? Because we're getting the scale to move and we're thinking, man, she's losing at a fast rate. This is great. And let me tell you why that's not great. When I finally, if I could handle it that long, as to lose 40 to 45 pounds in that kind of atmosphere, when I got to my goal, I looked awful. And I felt awful. Why did I look awful? Because that weight loss caused me, because I didn't eat right, and I lost weight too fast, it caused my body to consume muscle for fuel. Now listen, and store fat. So when I showed up at my weight loss goal on the scale, I was skinny fat. I was jiggly all over, no muscle tone at all, and just felt weak and tired. And I didn't understand why. I remember I told you guys this story before, I think last week even. I remember driving down the road. I was on the passenger side. Wade was driving. We were on a normal road, not a bumpy road. And I looked down. I was in a pair of shorts and my legs were moving like Jell-O. And I thought, what is this? I had never seen my legs do that before. As a matter of fact, I remember thinking how excited I was to wear those shorts because I had lost the weight. And when I wore them, I just didn't look right. I had no muscle tone. I was jiggly and saggy, and I thought, what has happened? Well, I had lost muscle. Because when you go on the fastest weight loss diets, these diets that say lose 30 pounds in 30 days, I want to caution you as a coach, those numbers would sell diets, ladies, wouldn't they? If I would tell you I can help you truthfully lose 30 pounds in 30 days, I would be a billionaire really quick. But I'm not the coach to do that. Why? Why? Because I care for my clients. Because I know personally also what happened. What happened to me was I consumed muscle. When you're over the age of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you already have muscle loss. Okay? Your body begins to lose muscle. When you lose muscle, it slows your metabolism down. So when I was going on these crash diets or barely not eating, what I was doing was my body would consume my muscle to slow my metabolism down so that my body wanted to survive in that atmosphere of 500, 600, 700, 800, 1,000 calories a day. And while I would get excited about that scale dropping, my body was consuming its muscle to slow my metabolism down so it could survive in that type of atmosphere. And it was storing what fat it could store. So I ended up looking skinny fat at my goal. And I was becoming weaker and weaker. I did not look good and I did not feel good. Okay? So as a coach, I always err on the side of love and safety to make sure that my clients are retaining muscle while losing fat. Will you lose muscle while you're keeping your protein high? I always say protein high, resistance training, because both of those things right there help you hold on to your muscle in a calorie cut. Okay? And so that is so important. Will you lose some muscle no matter how hard we try? Yes. You will lose muscle in a calorie cut. We're going to try not to lose some. We're going to monitor your protein. We're going to monitor your resistance training. That's why those are so important. They help you hold on to that muscle. They help your body not only hold on to that muscle, but burn your fat, your stored fat, right? And that's what we want to do. We want you to show up at your goal looking your best self and feeling your best self, right? Now, a plateau will happen, and here is why. As you drop weight, your metabolism will slow some, but also you got to remember this. You do not weigh what you used to weigh when you started, right? And so you're not carrying around as much junk in your trunk. You're not carrying around as much weight. And so you are burning less calories just sitting around the house, and you're burning less calories moving around and working out. And so your calorie expenditure goes down, okay? And so it might go down to actually where you have set your calories. You could be still tracking your food, and you could still be working out, and you know that those calories are right, but all of a sudden you quit losing weight. You quit seeing inches go. You don't see any changes in your pictures. And that's because your calories are no longer at a deficit. So here's what you do to fix a real plateau. You look at your activity and you say, okay, have I slowed down my activity some? Maybe I need to ramp it up. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that most women underestimate is walking. We think because we went to the gym 3 times a week that we are active people. And most of us, if we go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week for 30 to 45 minutes each time, we think we are just so active. But we sit at our desks for 40-hour work weeks, right? So I want you to think about it. If you're going to the gym even 4 times a week, and you're going 45 minutes and you're just killing it, 45 minutes, 4 times a week, is that the majority of your movement through the week? If it is, you're very sedentary. So those steps that we don't think about, we're thinking, well, I go to the gym 4 times a week, but I want you to think about your life as a whole. And I'm glad you're going to the gym 4 times a week. That's great. But don't underestimate your steps. They count. Those steps count. I always tell my clients, start looking at your steps. Look at your phone, have a tracker, and see kind of where you are. And if you're under 10,000 steps a day, which most of us are, then if you're at 3,000 steps, then make it a goal to bring it up about 2,000 more. So you can hit about 5,000 steps, right? So you've walked it up 2,000. And when that becomes easy for you to kind of get in and kind of like your normal day, then add 2,000 more. And now you're up to 7,000 steps. And when that becomes easy, oh my gosh, then up it. Just keep upping it until you get to your 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to tell you, if you're at a true plateau and you're wondering, how can I burn more calories? Get up and move. Move those feet. I have learned to put things in Google Documents on my phone so I can type and talk on my phone. I have client calls usually all day long. I used to just sit at my desk, and my son actually, he gets, I think I talked about this too last week. He'll get on the phone and just pace. He used to drive me nuts. When he was a teenager at home, I thought, oh my gosh, would you please go sit down? And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's what I need to do. I need to have on the phone all day. Instead of sitting behind the desk with my laptop, I need to get up and move. So I try to move. I set alarms to move. I tell my clients, set alarms to move, set alarms for water if you're forgetting that. Set those alarms so you'll remember, I've got to move. And here's the thing that we don't realize too. That a sedentary lifestyle, and most of us don't want to believe we're at a sedentary lifestyle, but most of us truly are at a sedentary lifestyle. And do you know that a sedentary lifestyle will shorten your life? It really does, by 10 years or more. And so just getting those steps in daily will lengthen your life. It's proven in studies that you will live longer if you move more. So it's not all about weight loss. It's about life, longer life, and quality of life, right? So get up and move. But if you truly hit a plateau where nothing is changing, like I said, first look at your steps. Look at your activity. Have you slowed down a little bit? Or maybe you need to up the pace. Then secondly, I would really look at my diet and say, oh my gosh, am I eating more processed foods? Between processed foods and unprocessed foods, processed foods are things that come in bags and cans and boxes and all of that have barcodes on the back, right? And unprocessed foods, although they've started putting barcodes on bananas and avocados, those are the one ingredient foods. Those unprocessed foods are like bananas, one ingredient, right? Avocados, Brussels sprouts, chicken breast. Those are the one ingredient foods. Those are the unprocessed foods. They have much less calories and greater volume per calorie for volume, less calories than the processed foods, right? So the processed foods, things that come in bags and boxes and cans, usually have much higher calorie content for much lower volumes of food. So start looking at your food and reassess all of that and say, okay, maybe I need to pull this or that from my diet now, and really start to get on track. Another thing, if you're not doing and you're just kind of eyeballing it, is really start using a free tracker, like a food tracker, and start weighing and measuring your foods. It will it'll help you understand your calorie count, what you're hitting every day, and if you're truly at a calorie deficit. And if you realize, hey, I'm getting 1,600, 1,700 calories and I am not losing weight, then you can do two things. What would that be? You need to move more, get those steps in. They're really important. Move more and really look at your food and make sure that's where you are and bring your calories down a little bit. And both of those things will help you start to push past that plateau. Okay? So that's what you need to do. It's a simple fix. It's just move more. Make sure those calories are on point. Track everything. Now, I have clients that say, and I had actually, I think 3, for sure 2, maybe 3 this last week, come to me and say, Coach, I have women at work that tell me, why are you trying to lose weight? One of my clients said this, and it made me so upset. She hired a nutritionist to work with her, and my client is very dedicated to her goals, her body goals. She is a woman who has always been concerned with her physical body and wanting to take care of it and wanting to look her best and have pride in herself. And not only have people around her besides a nutritionist said, you look great already, why isn't it good enough for you? But the nutritionist said, why is it a problem if you've gained 20 pounds? You're over 50. And that really hit me hard because they kind of alluded to her that she was obsessive with her diet. Well, I know her, and she's not obsessive with her diet, but she has goals for herself. And I have been in that place too where women didn't understand why I wanted to change my body. And I want to talk about that for just a minute. Because over 40 and over 50, for some reason, a lot of us want to just say, this is kind of where I am, and it's not going to get better. This is, I'm 40 or I'm 50 or I'm 60. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are in health, there's nothing wrong with that, ladies. You can stay right there. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are different women who are not happy with that, right? They're not going to say sure, it's just like I did. I said, surely, when I walked into my doctor and he said, you're in perimenopause, and basically gave me no hope, I walked out of that doctor's office with no hope, thinking, I'm not going to lose the weight. Surely I'm not stuck here feeling like this and looking in the mirror thinking I don't any longer recognize my body. And I thought there was no hope for me. And I began to study because I went to a competition where Wade competed, and his first competition was at age 51. And I saw these women in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, and I kid you not, 70s, on a stage in a bikini. And I thought, what are they doing different than me? Are they just genetically blessed and I'm not? Or what is it? And then I began to follow these women, and they were eating more food than me. They were eating carbs, and I was eating under 20 grams of carbs a day, and I could not figure it out. So I began to do a lot of research and a lot of study. And that's how I began to change my body. Years of trial and error and craziness of not eating and following fad diets and buying supplements and all of these things. But truly, it's just simple things like I teach you here. And there's a breed of women, and that's who I love coaching, is a breed of women who say, I don't care if I'm 40 or 50 or 60, and I have 70-year-old clients. Right now I have 2 women over 70 that say, I'm not happy with just giving up on myself. Now, it's okay if you are, but I'm not judging you if you do, but there's a group of us women that are a different breed. And isn't that what makes this world beautiful? Is the diversity of us all? Imagine if we were all the same, or every snowflake was exactly alike, right? Or every cloud in the sky. Every day was exactly the same. What a boring place it would be. So as we age, I want to embrace the beauty of the different and unique personalities. Mine is this. It doesn't make you wrong or right, but listen, mine is this. I truly want to be my best self at every age that I am. Also, I truly want to love myself at every stage, whether I am 45 pounds more than I am now or 20 pounds less than I am now. I want to love myself at every stage. But for me, I realize that to love myself requires discipline. And by that, I mean this. When I looked at my granddaughter the other day and she said, Mama, I don't understand. Why won't you and Papa let me have some treats? I just had snacks. I want to have treats. I didn't have any. I just had snacks. I didn't have any treats. And I said, baby, they're both the same thing. And she said, but they're not. They're really not the same thing. She's 6. I said, baby, they are. They're the same thing. And I looked at her and I said, baby, you know why I won't let you have any more of that kind of junk food? You already had some today. Why won't I let you? I don't know. She was crying, and it just breaks your heart. And you just want to go, here's the candy. But because I love her, I said, baby, because I love you. And I said, could you tell me why that Mama would not let you have more sweets? And she goes, probably because my teeth will get rotten. And I said, that's one reason. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. She said, I don't know why else. And I said, because I don't want you to have the sugar. The sugar's bad for you. And I love you. And if I didn't love you, I'd say, have all you want and just get out of my face. I said, but I love you. And so even when it's hard for me, I'm going to say, no, Cambria, I love you and you're not allowed to do that. And I said, I'm okay with you getting mad at me, but it's part of discipline and I love you, so I got to do hard things. And ladies, that's how I feel about us. I'm going to say something that might offend people, and I'm okay with it because I'm Allie 2.0 this year, and I'm going to be really honest. I'm going to be really honest. And it's very hard to say, but I'm saying this with all the love in my heart. When I was 45 pounds overweight, I didn't celebrate that. I didn't celebrate that. And I couldn't celebrate that because here's why. I was sick. I felt awful. My confidence was in the toilet. And I was tired of feeling sick and aching every single day of my life. Some people would say that I didn't love myself enough while I was 45 pounds more. But here's the truth. I didn't like where I was, and I knew I could be better. I knew I could feel better. I knew that when the doctor told me I was in perimenopause, that could not be a life sentence for me, that I was going to ache and feel awful for the rest of my life. So self-love for me looked like this. Self-love for me meant getting my head in a computer and in books and studying and finding my answer. And then when I found my answers, it meant self-discipline. And that self-discipline for me was the most wonderful thing that I have ever done. One of the most wonderful things that I've ever done for myself, ever. And so while some will say, I'm 500 pounds, and I hope you hear my heart, and they are dancing around on the internet and celebrating their 500 pounds, I see that as destructive behavior because it brings disease and it brings early death. It brings cancer and it brings heart disease. Self-love is this. Just like I told my granddaughter, it is loving yourself enough to make discipline and bring disciplines into your life. That's what it means. Love yourself at 500 pounds, yes, but love yourself enough to say, I cannot live this way anymore. I am destroying my body. I can replace my car and I can replace my house. And most of us take better care of our car and our houses than we do our bodies that we cannot replace. This is irreplaceable. We've got one. That's all we get. So self-love is this. It's looking at ourselves at any weight and saying, I am going to do what's best to clean up this body. And so when I see women like my clients who were their friends around them were saying, or this nutritionist was saying, why would you be upset? Why do you have to be a certain way? I see what she's doing as a beautiful thing in so many ways. She is holding herself to a higher standard. And I love it. I love women that have decided, personally, I had to change my whole life after the age of 50. I was failing at everything, ladies. You guys have heard my story. I was failing at my weight. I was ballooned up. I had inflammation. My body ached all over. I was not sleeping. I was drinking alcohol every freaking night and drinking myself to sleep. My marriage sucked. My music career was going down the drain. I was not being a good mother. I was not being a good anything. Self-love meant I had to be hard on myself and turn my life around. And so don't criticize someone who you see doing that. If it were just the alcohol, then everybody'd be like, yeah, you gave up alcohol. If it were smoking, we'd be like, yay, you gave up smoking. But when someone is hard on themselves about their food choices and they're saying, I can't eat like that anymore. Why do people around us say, you have a problem with your food? Why are you so concerned about your food? But they didn't do that to me when I was eating potato chips all day. They didn't do that to me when I was eating cupcakes and potato chips and all that. But when I started to be concerned about my health and I started tracking my foods and weighing and measuring my foods because I needed to get rid of all the excess things that were making me sick, then it was the opposite. Allie, why are you doing that? You know, you're a little extra concerned about your food. And while I understand there are many of us who have problems with not, we don't eat. Some of us just have basically starved ourselves to death. I'm not promoting that either. I'm promoting discipline and love to ourselves and what that looks like. And so let's love each other no matter where we are. Let's love each other no matter where we are, but love ourselves enough to say, I am going to live my best life. I am going to make the right choices for my fuel and for my body and for my health. I've got one life. Ladies, no matter where you are in life, you can always up your game and become better. That's the breed of woman I want to work with. And I'm going to tell you what, 4 years ago, I was a complete loser in every area of my life. Am I a winner in every area of my life right now? No, I am not. But I sure am working hard to change it. I'm working hard to change it. I want to leave this earth saying, I was my best self. I lived out my dreams. I left a legacy. I was an inspiration to people. My life and even my mistakes that I made and changed and fixed helped somebody else. Me publicly talking about rape and abuse and my addiction problems and my past marriage and all of these bad places that I've been and how that you can turn it around. Those things right there, I'm so glad I did. And I'm so glad I didn't settle. And I'm so glad I didn't lay down and just give up and say this is all it gets after 50. I'm 55 now, and I want to inspire women all over the world. I want to see a breed of women rise up and say, I'm not going to be status quo. I've had women tell me, Allie, you need to cut your hair, you're over 50. Allie, you don't need to wear that, you're over 50. And I want to say, I'll do my 50, you do yours. Because I'm different and I'm going to embrace my beauty. And whoever you are right now, and I don't care where you're watching me from right now, quit letting people mold you into being what they think you should be. Girlfriend, even at 50 years old, you can rise up over 50 and you can be who you were born to be. And it might make everyone around you uncomfortable. And sometimes it means walking away from relationships, and that's hard. But quit hanging out with buzzards. Hang out with eagles. Eagles soar above, and they rise above, and they are a different breed. That's what you are meant to be. Hold yourself to a higher standard and hang out with those who do hold themselves to a higher standard. I heard somebody say once, you are the average of the people that you surround yourself with. You are that average. We've got to bring new people into our life, people around us that inspire us, that believe in us, that make us feel like where we are, where we've settled for, where we've settled for is not all there is, that there's more, and that we can become more, and we can be better, and we can leave a legacy and be an inspiration no matter what we've come through. It doesn't matter. All of that crap that we came through, honey, it can make you stronger. It doesn't have to keep you broken for the rest of your life. It can just use it to make yourself stronger. That's hard. It's hard to hear, especially when we're talking about things like rape, right? I remember when I heard Tony Robbins say, what if life is happening for you and not to you? And immediately my mind went, rape didn't happen for me. It did happen to me. And it really made me angry when he said that. How? And I thought, how in the world could rape be for me? And it had destroyed my life for over 25 years. How could it be for me? And I'm going to tell you what. I decided that day, I thought on it and thought on it and thought on it. And it wasn't just that day. I thought on it for days and days and days and days, thinking, how could that be? That doesn't even make sense. Why would he even say that? Now I'm going to tell you what I decided to do. I decided to no longer be a victim after 25 years of rape. I decided after 25 years that that rape was not going to define me, and that I was not going to allow something that happened to me to dictate who I was for the rest of my life. I decided to use that rape to become stronger. So the song that was on the radio, I couldn't even, when it came on again on my radio, because I was raped and there was a certain song on, when I heard that song come on the radio for 25 years, it would come on, Aerosmith's song, I thought, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I turn the channel. And you know what I decided to do? I decided that I would listen to that song and I would become empowered by that song, and I would no longer allow that song to make me fearful and sad and bring out horrible memories. And I decided that Aerosmith would be my favorite band, and I would learn all of their songs. And when I went to an Aerosmith concert, which I did, Steven Tyler, and I went to see him, and I was just, no longer will I be a victim. I'm going to take the things that were meant to destroy me, that could have, and I'm going to use those things that could have destroyed me and make me stronger. So I started telling my story, and as I told it, other women started messaging me, Allie, I was raped too. I have never told anyone. Allie, I never told anyone. And I'm going to tell you. See, I didn't tell anyone for 5 years. I didn't plan on talking about this, ladies. I didn't tell anyone for 5 years. I never talked about it openly till over 25 years after it happened. I felt guilt. I felt everything. I felt I didn't want my children, when they were babies, to rub my arm. Any touch just made my skin crawl, including from my own children. It didn't allow me to be close to my children because I was the victim. And now my children are grown, and I missed out on so much. It destroyed what little relationship I had with my ex-husband. It destroyed what little was there. I didn't want a man to touch me. And I'm going to tell you, I decided to rise up and no longer be a victim, and to flip my circumstances. No longer did that have a hold on me. I don't know why I'm talking about this today. Didn't plan on it. I guess because I started to tell you how you can change your life after the age of 50. That's when I decided to. I decided after age 50, actually at age 51. It's been the best thing I've ever done. One of the best, anyways. Having my kids, that's a good one. Mary and Wade, that's an amazing one. You know, having my grandchildren, that's an awesome one. Changing my health, that's a great one. Quit being an alcoholic, that's an amazing one. Starting a career, sorry, my son called, working with women all over the world, that's an awesome one. No longer being a victim to rape, that's an amazing one. These are things I've overcome since the age of 51. I'm 55. I don't have a college degree. I don't have a business education. And here I am, just loving on y'all. So I hope that my testimony helps you. Didn't even plan to talk about all this tonight at all. I only wanted to talk about Plateaus and I was out. Yeah, I hope that the Plateau information helped you. I hope it did. I hope it helps you to reach your goals and to know that none of the goals that you have, my friend, are frivolous. Because if it's what you want to do, you can accomplish that goal. Don't let what people say around you stop you. Coaches, even nutritionists, don't let them stop you. Go for your goals. Be your best self. Leave your legacy. Go to your grave proud of yourself and happy. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to get past your hurts and those things that have maybe even destroyed you like they did for me for 25 years. It's never too late. Stand up and fight for yourself. And if you need a weight loss coach in your corner, Allie's your girl. I love what I do, for real. That's why I do a lot of it here for free. And I'm so thankful for every single paying client that I have, because it's been a blessing in my life. These ladies that I get to mentor and that I get to teach, man, they are the most amazing women. And like I said, I want to one day go into a stadium full of this breed of woman that is our age and just hear this roar fill the stadium of women who have overcome the most horrible things and become the most beautiful, shining beacons of hope and success and power. Oh my gosh, what an amazing day that will be. I love you, ladies. I'm out of here. I've been on here almost an hour. I love you. Have a wonderful night. I will see you next week. Next week, we are going to talk about 8 exercises that you should be doing as a woman over the age of 40. These are 8 exercises in the gym, especially, that you need to be doing. And if you aren't doing them, let's talk about that next Thursday live at 5 p.m. Central right here. And I look forward to it. Make sure that you're here or watch on replay. Love you, ladies. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you really soon.